Ye mamwachi kana menina Jeki mamwachi kana menina Ninke mwanya umani kana mamufe Jeki mwanya umani kana mamufe Assalamu alaikum Malaikum assalam Check you see assalamu alaikum Malaikum assalam JQWaves.com
Checham Nesubio, Yamamajo, Yamamajo, Mamma Jimren Munyamre, na in the Yesin Kunya, and Nesso a German Deutsche Einheit, 30 years east and west Germany, in Ne and Omakabum 1993 October. Until we say in the best way, I was Sar Radio Yonko Drive Time, Sar Radio Yonko Drive Time, TB Germany Kabum and Field was and now we now Christmas no wait to me in a gift. It's and let me share the whole crew on my home with the delay Kaka National or Madaroma to me about life and color. Since it's IT boss and a capia or my sound would say Facebook, YouTube and GQWave.com. In a you think when you have a kanye to for maybe a free one a color no to said any pekayana. But then you better mix your language, you know, into two. Steve Vier, no the Baba Potokasimo, na yako Oba Gloria or your program. Ewo Yanko Ewo Sa Radio Obasima, and also the Nopino Baba from Italy. Na Nana also GQTV researcher, and also the contribution Baba from Bonn. Until the idea is all about the history of the African descendant. You know, Munyabotre, Babro Fune, better I said, the Babachi, a mix two languages. You know, San and the Yabe. Mama Renfi, over to me, I should share GQ Waves Radio, or Google Play Store, and App Store, a GQ Waves Radio, or 5 yellow color now, Ubenya Sar Radio and GQ Waves. Until one download, Namun Shema will be na Yanquinim. A house open news at HM or Germany, and now say open news at Ghana Embassy, Dema Ghana for or more Germany national, Sar Radio and GQ Waves, a honey debate Monday to Friday between 5 to 8 in Arabia, and Yakasa, and the Bebramo. And as a smart Gemre, your studio lines near +49 1521 211 5630, and as a +49 681 9515 399. What to Mr. Melia, our news@gqwaves.com, news@gqwave.com, and as a contact@gqwave.com. And they didn't come on to Jimrena Yamre. Now, for comments, is a bra. You will both YouTube, GQ TV, like, share, follow, now subscribe. Now for movie, now for doing channel. Now for Facebook, so GQ TV. At the same time, so for comments, but me after say them kind now. And that's it. Prince one, and room so and I'm lighting it. The whole crew, and I must say, Steve, welcome you to the program.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Wonderful. I hope you greet all the SAR crew in Ghana, DJ Hot and other staffs.
Yeah, DJ Hot. My greetings to you and the Kosomo boys, the Kita boys, and all the listeners. Thank you so much for making this platform really great.
Good, wonderful. So now, I think we will go to Nanayam, who, before we come to Steve in the studio, we just made a short introduction of Steve, that is also with us in studios. But I don't know which language Nanaya will just give to us. We will just go to Nanaya direct to Bon. Nana, Yama Akwaba, the history of African racism. Which language do you prefer? Tree or what do you have tree? Anna, what do you have brofo? Mate, me da say. Go until ma young corner sa pepe. By the way, your topic here, the history of African descendant and racism. And then him said true baby ya na yes ya bro no see racist crap. But the tougher according to the whole week the research about the history of African.
You can read
It's here for just.
I think the issue of Africa dates back a lot of ages ago, but so the day I met you, Matikano, let's say, make a crabber, so the day I am a
Yeah, call break short. Yeah, baba oho sesi antino. My America crave baba oho santi yentene yemfa yenko adverts ne fi there yenho.
Do you need internet on your mobile phone or computer in form of prepaid or FastNet? We are here to give you the best service. Visit our website geekywaves.com or contact us on our customer care service number +49 17 99 86 4242. Do you need internet on your mobile phone or computer in form of prepaid or FirstNet? We are here to give you the best service.
You try your home, Kakrebi, Yasanso, Ababio. I think that you were about 30 pages, but Bebon Tofa, I think that's the end of the year, no. I'm finding you now monitor for now until the end of the year. Never hear near the Abantino. Continue, baby. I would do you and if you young queen on that note.
Okay, and number two,
okay, you're on to Casa.
Number two will be a Tokon for Quack, a crack, that's but you know, into a big families have been quiet. Then so not the line, any other course of Africa, DTP, will be in Africa for Niso or Sub-Saharan Africa for no, West Africa for Niso or Intina. If you will be not, maybe I won't be in front of one quarter the opposite to be into Emma and when you talk a crew, let's put it or more say, and they do so, and that's it, and known like what we call the Trans-Saharan. Now they are pushing, now they are coaching. And they do it in Yamana. Now, during the beginning of the 14th century, Europeans be bar Africa. Now, Omubai, no one should be Omubai Bija, the general Omubai, Omubai, no one should buy the good of normally able to be normally called. You also call a normal culture of opening for the you could be a how, could be a how, or you, you can be a Mubija, and you do see a manema, no, Omuban. Also could be a film of and in the true spirit and respect of barter trade, you know. Now almost the deeper bar, not the mono pills, a shed of pills, a fin of pill, not the ashes. It is never been so on a man that is money who be there. If you can share, if you can near my education, there, medicine, and money, and I'm a chance to the plan almost to meet the end. It's almost a quarter of a catcher of Moko 20 years. And during the end of the 14th century, you know, and there's one prince in Portugal, a friend of Prince Harry, no friend of the beginning, a friend of the navigator, now or chief. Also, a catcher of Mokini, and a friend of King John the First, the first said, or what percent of Moba at the name of most of the territory, or what the 10 times with the name. And on any so man requiring more shifts more modified then to buy no or realize is a certain for Kakra. So you also have a book almost saying that not tonight, name that tonight, you name your manema. And that is where the Trans-Saharan slave trade started. Or mobile no the top of the top quality free. And the fact of mobile I think we are saying. And I started with the name. And you poor, when you give me poor Jan and over the buy, or the buy, or what the ammonia more, and on the buy, and we have told you, Kyle, and Mao. That was the first issue of slave trade in Africa. And almost buying over that toy. Let's see, the Portuguese for the buyer who would say, and never personal, or Munko would be to pay a Spaniard for to be by Africa. Dutch will be by Africa, French will be by Africa, the Danish will be by Africa with the intent of adventure. Almost over no money for no mother Kenya, no mother Bible, Nadia, or the Aji, or the status and the being the Bukwa, sorry, any goods in your money now, almost buy. And not Portugal, what the deep my pa, I will be getting in the project in the Manema. A do that, too many Portugal for could be Netherlands once, Netherlands for a controlling ports, and the seashore because sometimes you got back in there anymore, and it will be the best remember, and it's on ship. It's not control the ports, on a coastal lines, on a mile or on a route, I already said, where ship be a bar, whatever. The majority of the time, not Portugal for them, maybe the Netherlands for them, ever controlling ports, and they do the visual as she to almost could be France for them. And a Potakora and a 63 almost could be a morphonics, and that is the British.
Okay, maybe I'm in Toronto and I'm in Toronto short. How long now Portugal for no a whole country no for 3 years or 5 years?
I think Portugal for the territories of Africa from the 14th century to the end of the 15th century.
Okay.
Portugal was never over 100 years.
Okay. Okay, between the 14th and the 15th century. Okay.
That's right.
Okay, good. And then Netherlands wants to be control port for also about a decade or also a century.
The Netherlands also ever control port from the 15th century close to the end of the 15th century.
Okay.
The Netherlands wanted the but you need the specific data. But within the 15th century to the end of the 15th century. And France wanted by from the end of the 15th century to the middle of the 16th century.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm moving from the beginning of the 16th century to the middle of the
16th century. Okay.
And I'm written for the buyer. That's not what you said. Good independence in the name.
Okay.
Now, a group of beginnings, we realize is that before the bar, no to me to my pa, and during the World Wars in the the smallpox, and those malaria infections are now more in respect to working on the plantations in the Now the Africans were immune to it. So we realize is that I don't know, we try to move for Africans to bring and so they don't put my age and then in 1562, the first official slave shipper West Africa. Shipper West Africa, Queen Elizabeth the Third, and the Tika, and all the top, and almost from Africa. Now that's shipping beer and that's Jesus of Lubeck.
Now the thing is Jesus of Lubeck. Lubeck.
S-U-B-E-C-K.
Okay. Lubeck.
Jesus of Lubeck. It came into the shores of Ghana, the shores of West Africa on 1562. And the key trades, 4 trades from 1562 to 1568 are as a Nipa 300 to 500, the fast 300 to 500. All these slaves were slaves are not a morphology of Africa, Abeto or free African leaders in them. And as a woman, no one person or one in them. Now, a do baby, no, I realize that after the now, any party in Turkey, if there are no more of slaves now to go slaves. That is when they started taking people against their will because they felt they already had a system. And because they had been so much incorporated into the system to the point that now a telephone they didn't try to initially now said the emergency would be a crack. Now almost a geomatic. The group will be no now or almost the people now won't for MIHP near DB core near DB ban and MIHP. The group will be no slave trade became barbaric. When it started, it was business, but it got to a point that it became taking people against their will. It became taking young adults from their mothers, taking young adults from their fathers. And slave trade, I think a little bit of negativity at the time.
Good. Okay. Nana. Yeah, okay, you know, I think say your jot point up and to conclude waha since it's a way of more broad thinner. You better try educate it the end of the year. And you know, conclude waha mame nefi I mean first Steve. Now yeah, into into next month never so I shall say because they're very broad. I don't think say you be to me the 1 day and I said just about 1 hour I to consider the whole thing. You know, conclude waha mame majority
yeah, the issue of African also.
yes.
The group they realize they never be on by at least we should get them some kind of liberty. And if they should be able to as in coexist with them in Yemen. And then they confine racism by
good.
Because the mere program which remember will need better only the benefit. It's and never degree by a group there were some race statements be some open racist laws here for examples of it. Everybody
my FNC here and the next episode, you know. Then the next episode, you remember how the racism also came into. And you know, you better was say what they am I at least you know how it all started from the 14th century with the Portuguese. So you do see that's a part if you because Steve now you better also to end of the year no you better this discussion once in every month. You better this discussion about the history of the black people. And you know, yeah, that's a number. And when you are teaching come out GKTV direct from not transferred file. Yo, yeah, that's me bring. Okay, you have for another GKTV researcher and then teaching commanders. This particular program, no, you know, for end of the year. Into next month to say better. So you're in the year because it's a very broad thing. That massive. Let me come back to Steve. Steve.
Hello.
Thank you for your time. Now we got you on the studio now.
Yeah, right. Thank
you. So now, and then I best say Kasanaka because Steve doesn't understand the Tree language, so we have to switch it somehow so that he can get us. And then probably it's not going to be like more on the Oxford because you're going to go like more slang because we have also people in Chicago, LA, New York, Blooms, like Philip and Co. The Keys, they really love to know who we are. So we go a bit like more slang and the more like the Oxford, so just bear in mind. So, well, still, the topic is very broad, and I don't think we can have 1 hour to discuss. So, when you talk about the history of black people, by the way, is the black people really black? Or it's just someone somewhere created like these are the black people?
Okay, that's a beautiful question. You see, the most important thing is if let's say if you go on the street and you meet anybody on the street and you ask them that how many races do we have on the earth, on the planet, I think it will be very difficult. You cannot say how many races we have. You know, if you say how many races we have only one race, the human race.
Okay.
Okay. But in a certain group of people, they try to like categorize, separate people to make people fight against each other and say, okay, you are different race, and the other one too is a different race. And the first question you have to ask is, if we talk about a black race, okay, everybody knows the color of black, right? If you look at your printing, your printer, the ink is black, right? Have you ever seen any human on the planet who is of that color, who has that same color as a printer?
Well, if I'm going to be right, when you go close to the Kenyans, you can get people, but there are more people more dark.
No, like real black, like your ink.
Ink. I haven't got to know yet.
And if you look at your printing, the paper you use in printing, what is the color?
It's white.
White. Have you ever seen any human on the planet who has that color?
No.
Yes. You see, the white people, they are beige.
Beige, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the people you call a white race, they are actually beige. And
like the brown.
Yeah, correct. And the people you call the black race or the black people, they are actually brown.
Brown.
Yeah, they're actually brown because it's very difficult to see somebody who is who has a color just like your ink, what you use in printing. Yeah, very, very difficult. So what you have to what you have to ask yourself is, what is the opposite of black?
It's white.
And what is the opposite of white?
White is black.
Correct. So it means that if they call you that you are a black man, but actually you are not black, you are brown. And the person they call a white, that person is actually not white, but the person is beige.
Yeah.
What are they trying to, put into your brain? They are putting some type of a subliminal, some kind of coded message inside your brain, and they are making you white, whilst you are not actually white, you are beige. And the other one, they are telling you you are black, but actually
Whilst you are brown.
You are brown. So you see, the opposite of black is white, and the opposite of white is black. So what they are actually telling you is, you are opposite each other, and then you cannot come together. You have to fight against each other. So that is actually the type of message, the like the secret message they put behind your brain to make you look at your other, the other race as an enemy, as the opposite of each other. So then we have to keep fighting against each other. Okay? And apart from that also, you see, if we talk about the history of black, these same people, you look at the African continent, because actually most of the black people...
Let us have a Gloria on the line too. We might have also Gloria.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the people they call the black race, they make it look like we just only specifically came out of Africa, or all the black people here in the Western world came out of Africa. It's not really true.
It's not really true?
It's not really true, because there were black people who were in the Americas, North, South America, before the white man ever stepped there. And there were also the black people here in Europe before the white man ever showed up here. And if you want a proof of this, you look at the people they call the Olmec.
The Olmec.
O-L-M-E-C. The Olmecans. If you look at the Olmec, the people they call Olmec, if you look at the pictures, they are black people. They are Congoid. They have broad nose. They have kinky hair, like the black people. And they are actually the people who were in America, who were in Europe, before the white man stepped here. And if you go to a place like Italy, originally, Italy wasn't called Italy. Italy was called Etruscan.
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 E-T-E-T.
E-T-R-U-S-C-A.
C-A. Etruscan.
Etruscan.
These were the people who were originally living in Italy before the white people showed up over there. And if you look at these Etruscans, they are black people.
By the way, I think before BC or after the BC, because we believe the Romans...
Oh, it was BC.
It was
definitely BC, yes.
Yeah, that was before BC.
Yes. So if you look at the Etruscans who were living in Italy before the white people showed over there, they are black. If you look at the Olmec, the Olmec, they are also black people. Okay, they were in America, they were in Europe, they were living in the four corners of the world. That is from Asia, Japan, China, because even up till now, if you go to Japan, the original Japanese is black. Original Chinese is actually black, just like us. Okay, but this is the type of history.
Let me interrupt you here. How can someone being in our school today learn history, and if you explain to that person originally the true Chinese are black or the Japanese, how could they take that?
That is the reason why the history books, history is always written by the conqueror. Okay, the modern conquerors, you don't expect that they will write about the black history, how great the Africans were, how we enslaved them before they turned around and enslaved with the black people. You don't expect them to write good things, how we the black people, we invented a lot of things, technology, how we the black people, we were the first to, like a physician, a doctor, you know, they give the credit to someone called Hippocrates from Greece. When he went to Kemet, that was ancient Egypt, and learned from Imhotep. Imhotep is actually the father of medicine and not Hippocrates, okay? So you wouldn't expect these conquerors, the white people, to write a history and give credit to the black race, that blacks were originally the inventors, and blacks were the people who were ruling, like the black you call the Moors, M-O-O-R. M-O-O-R, the Moor.
Okay.
They were the people who were living in Spain, in Portugal. They were ruling over the white people, because by then, the whites never knew how to even wear clothes, or even they were living, you know, under the ground. So you wouldn't expect these conquerors to write history about a black race and still expect we the black people to be under slavery or to be ruling over us. Because if somebody is trying to write a history about a particular group of people, and they still want to keep them under suppression, or they still want to rule them, they're not going to write good things about them. So actually, history is actually written by the conqueror, and they try to make it look like they are the people who are the bosses even from the beginning. You know, so even if you look at a country like Greece, Greece actually originally wasn't Greece. It was called Ionia.
Ionia?
Yeah, Ionia, I-O-N-I-A-N, Ionia. You know, that was original Greece. Okay? And the reason why, if you really want to study or you want to dig deep into the history of Africa, the reason why you wouldn't see it is that if you go to the net and you tap in anything about Africa, you're not going to see Africa. Because Africa was actually named by Pope Leo Africanus. That's what the name. But the original name of Africa is Alkebulan.
Alkebulan.
Alkebulan. A-L-K-E.
A-L-K-E.
Alkebulan. A-L-K-E-B-U-L-A-N.
B-U-L-A-N.
Yeah. And that was the original name of Africa before they came and changed it to Africa.
Who changed it?
That was Pope Leo Africanus. It was named after him. And you see, if you look at the ancient Judah, actually before it wasn't called Judah, because before in the Hebrew language, there was nothing like J. It was actually Yehuda.
Yehuda, okay.
So ancient Judah in the Bible is Ethiopia.
Okay.
Yes, ancient Judah is Ethiopia. Africa, South Africa was called what? Alzania.
Alzania, okay.
Yeah. So you see, the people, they came and they changed a whole lot of things, and they don't want the African people knowing that they had history and were ruling. Actually, even Africa had universities. They had scholars. Their educational system was really great, especially if you look at sub-Saharan Africa during those days. They had a university that was called University of Jenne, stretching from, I think it's in Ghana. And it's the model of this University of Jenne that was introduced in Spain, called University of Salamanca. You know, so they had a Dogon in Africa who knew about astrology and all those things. By then, because those Dogon in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, they knew about astrology. And they knew about other planets called even Nibiru and all that stuff. When a white man came to Africa, they never even knew about it. And when this Dogon people were telling them about astrology and all that stuff, they were looking at them like, hey, you guys, what are you talking about?
So, by the way, how can we go back and know our truth and also gain the access of who we, the Africans, really are?
That's the reason why you need to, dig deep and study history. Because these people, they came, we had a very big university in Egypt. Egypt was formerly called Kemet, Alexandria. That's why we had a big university with a lot of books and scholars. And when the white people came there, actually it was Alexander the Great from Macedonia. He came and he did not really understand the language around that area, and he was not even educated. You know, he came and they invaded and they burnt. I mean, they stole most of the books in Alexandria, the big library of Alexandria. They came and stole those books and they brought them to Vatican.
So why he wasn't so educated and was called Alexander the Great?
Yeah, they called him Alexander the Great because, you know, the white people, you know, when they, you know, anywhere they go and they invade, they try to make it look like they're the first. It's just like Christopher Columbus. You know, he never even set foot in America. Where he ended up was San Salvador. He never set foot in America, but he said he's the one who discovered America, which is false.
Okay.
You see? So
what is the proof that it is false?
Oh, if you go, you dig deep, you see.
Okay.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus, he never went to America. Where he went to actually was San Salvador. He never stepped foot in America.
San Salvador is not America?
San Salvador is the.
It's in Mexico.
Yeah, it's you know, it's South America.
Yeah, Mexico.
Yeah, around those areas, you know. So they try to make it look like he's the one who came and discovered. And even according to sources, even Christopher Columbus himself, he attested to the fact that when he went there, he saw black people living there already. He met blacks there before, you know. But it's these people who changed the whole history and they try to make it look like, yeah, you know, it's the white people who came and discovered. And even Christopher Columbus, his chief navigator was a Moor, M-O-O-R. And these were the people who were ruling in Spain. You know,
at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, they were ruling and they were teaching the white people a whole lot of things, how to build houses, how to, you know, use cotton, you know, fabrics, wear clothes and all that stuff. So even here in Germany, you know, look at Otto the First.
Okay.
Otto the First. He's a black man.
Okay, 1 minute before we go. Have you got Gloria on the line? So I think we have to have a Gloria on the line to see how we get the whole thing done. Okay. Before then, Eddie from K-Town, very educated. Thank you, Eddie, for watching. I hope you're going to share our program for us. Christina Bedu, also good program. Thank you. Greetings to you, GQ. Thank you. And also Monte Commodore and all the crews on the WhatsApp line. Okay, thank you so much, and thank you DJ Hot also for sharing the program of a class. Thank you so much. So we got Gloria on the line. Gloria, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon to you and your viewers.
Thank you and welcome to the show GQ TV Live on Facebook, YouTube, and also GQ.com. By the way, we decided to make this program 2 languages since it's more about the history of the African descendant, which English is also not an African language. So we have to also balance it somehow, because if Steve has to also speak the other language, I might not also understand it. So we'll get to that point anyway. So which language do you prefer that you contribute to the program? Chi is more preferable for also like... Sorry?
Chi is okay. Chi is okay. English is okay.
I know. So this is more okay. Then I'll try.
I'll mix the two.
Okay,
I'll mix the two.
Okay, mix the two. So let me also have your contribution on the show.
Okay.
How do you define the black people? And who are the black people? Were they the first on the planet, and now choose to be the second on the planet?
Are you asking me whether they were the first to be on the planet?
Yes, correct.
For that, we cannot really tell, because when you look at the history of the black descent, when you look at it, we can deduce from when the hominids were in existence. We believe they came in first. When you look at the Homo sapien family, we have about eight species. But at the end of the time, all of them got extincted and was left with the Homo sapiens, which ended up being us. And these Homo sapiens were living in the caves and in the forest, like they were existing.
Okay.
They were existing. So yeah, until it evolved, and then the African continent came up. And the African continent is a part of the 5 continents in the world.
Yes, of course. I think if you will not leave Antarctica to it, then we will have a 6th continent, because we mostly neglect Antarctica, which is also a continent. So we can say in the schools we teach we have a 5 continent, But for reality, I think I will also come to Steve later on. I think my days at school, I also got to know Antarctica is a part of the continent. So I always, as a young grown up, I know we have a 6th continent. Is that right, or you still disagree with that?
Well, like I was also taught in school that we are 5. We have 5. So
we have 6
okay. But I don't think they have been added to the continent to make it 6 officially. For that, I cannot really tell.
Okay. So on this educative program that we all study and also learn, then I can also say we have a 6th continent. We cannot neglect Antarctica also as a continent. So we can all later. I think we're going to do this program to the end of the year, once in every month. So we're going to make more detailed research about that to give us a fact for those coming up to know who the Africans really are and our right, and how we got into Europe, and how the white also got into African, how we still see as a second to the white people. So we will come to that point. But by the way, come up with your view about today's topic, the history of the African descendant.
Okay, so like as I was saying, the Homo sapiens existed, and then it grew to become the African continent, because they were already living. They were living in caves. They were living on the trees. They were doing their own thing, until we started seeing the rising of the empires.
Okay.
The empires across Africa. If you look into the history of Africa, you get to know of the Mansa Musa. From the Ghana Empire. We have the Zulus, and it cuts across. So they were ruling themselves. They were already there doing their own thing. They had their own economy. They had their own social way of living. They were existing. And when these empires were there were a lot of fight among themselves, because they were all trying to claim territories.
Okay.
But then, if you look into the history of the African descent, I can say that they have really suffered a lot, because because at that time education was not that much, and then writing was not really encouraged. By then, education had not taken place in Africa. You cannot really get concrete information about how they existed.
Okay.
From the cave, and transit from the cave to the empires, and then to the kingdoms. We can get a little, but not very much. But when you look into it, you can see that the empires were there, as I was saying. The Zulus were there, that from the South Africa, the Ghana Empire, and everything. They were all trying to claim territories. They were fighting among themselves. They were trading among themselves, and I can deduce that Mansa Musa was a very, very, very rich man during his time. He had a lot of slaves and all that. So the systems were already working. They were trading among themselves. There were barter trades. And even when you listen to when you read the history of the African descent, they even started the slavery even before the Western people came in, because they were already doing it. And during the 7th century, the Arabs were already in Africa. The Arabs were already in Africa, and from research, I got to know that they were rather targeting the African women.
Okay.
Because they come and trade with the African people. When they are going back, they try to go back with African women as slaves, because they want to use them as their concubines.
Oh.
So when you go to the Arab nation, you also find African descent there. So like the question you asked, who is a black person, from the historian part of it to the current situation that we find ourselves in, I can say that there is no black person, because I don't know, I've never seen a black person before. I don't know whether you've seen a black person before.
Okay, so I think that you agree with Steve before he said that we don't have a black people, but we have a brown people.
Yes, it is a way.
Okay.
That's those people who think they are more superior than us used to describe we, the African descent, because there is no black person. You can never see a black person walking around here. It is a racialized way of classifying people.
Thank you. And before I come to Steve, you mentioned something like Mansa Musa, and then the word Mansa mostly might also thought a woman, but in your speech you said like a man. So was Mansa Musa a man, not a woman? Because he was a witch.
He was a man.
And containing woman's name as Mansa Musa, but though then it was doesn't matter who bears the name. Like Mansa can be a man or can be a woman, because I think for nowadays Mansa for us in our society is a woman.
Yes, the third girl of the family is Mansa, and Mensa is a man.
Okay, good. Thank you. Let me come to Steve. Thank you very much. Hold on the line and don't go away. We'll come to you as we discuss the issue with you. Steve,
Okay.
well, now we come to a point when you said in Germany. Now we come to Germany. But today is also 30 years as the East and the West came together as one country. And I was watching also documentary early this morning, like 12 a.m. And I also saw the workers in the Western getting more money than those working in the East. And mostly the East workers have more degree, a master's of the job that you do, like carpentry. And those in the West have a standard degree, but they're getting like a month 2,500 euros, and the East is getting also 1,800 euros. The same job that they do. So they're trying to find a common way for the East and the West also get the same amount of money. Come to now 30 years in Germany today. Exactly today. Today is holiday in Germany, 3rd October 2020. 30 years after Germany come together. Tell us about the history of Germany. Then you bring up also the historical point to the topic.
Okay, history about Germany, and let me first.
You are saying
I was talking about the history of the black people in Germany, or let's say in Europe. Okay, I was mentioning that Otto the Erste.
Otto the Erste.
Yeah, Otto the First. He was the German emperor, right? He was a black man.
Huh?
Yes.
Otto
the Erste. He was black, and there was also a queen by the name of Sophia Charlotte.
But this is very crucial for me.
Charlotte von Mecklenburg-Strelitz.
Sophia
Charlotte. Königin Sophia Charlotte von Mecklenburg-Strelitz.
Okay.
She was a black woman.
1 minute. This is more interesting because let me go to Google and find out before I'm also more convinced. So, Otto the First.
Otto the Erste.
Otto the Erste. Do you think?
First.
But I saw his picture with the beard, but he was a black guy.
It's the same as Alexander Hamilton from the U.S. He was the Secretary of Finance, something like that. He was a black man, but they painted him as white till now.
I think this.
And
you
also,
to me, I have to make
also, if you look at the Black Madonna. We all say Black Madonna, right? They worship her as white woman, but she was a black. And even the Pope in the Vatican, they worship Black Madonna. She's a black woman. Okay? So, the people, they change things a whole lot. Even
Otto the First, yeah?
Otto the Erste. He was black, yes.
Otto the Erste.
And for the Christians also, just note this. Everybody read the King James Bible, right? King James was the first king of Ireland, Scotland, Great Britain, and then which one? Wales. He was the first king who ruled under these different nations. And he was a black man. King James of the Bible.
King James. He was he wrote that with a D down with the King James.
Yeah, the King James you see in your Bible was a black man. This will surprise a lot of Christians, yes. Yeah. But they try to make it look like all these people are white. And actually, you see, there are a lot of Christians who go to church on Sundays, they clap their hands, they stamp their foot, they sing and all that stuff. And they have the picture of Yeshua HaMashiach, which you call Jesus Christ. You have the picture as white. Actually, he's not white, he's black. I'm going to come to it and prove it, okay? Now, we have, I think we have 12 heads of religions on the planet, like Gautama Buddha, Zoroaster, Krishna, Baha'u'llah, Muhammad, Jesus Christ, all these guys.
Buddhists.
Yeah, Gautama Buddha, yeah. They are all black. I mentioned it one time, and then there was a Buddhist around, and someone was like trying to argue, and the guy said, yes, Gautama Buddha was black. They're not the Buddhist. When you talk to them, you ask them, they will tell you he was black. But you see, these are all things that are hidden. They don't want anybody knowing. And I'm going to tell you, Moses, Abraham, King David. Abraham actually came from, the east, okay? And then his name was Abra. And then God added Ham onto his name, and then he became Abraham. Ham is actually black, because Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth.
But we say we don't have a black, so it's a brown then.
Yeah, I'm just going to use the word black. Actually, it's brown, because when you say brown, it looks a little bit odd, people will not understand it. So when I put black, but for me personally, I know we don't have black people, we have brown people. And the white people, I'm still going to use the word white because it's easier for people to understand.
Okay, but it's the beige.
Yeah, beige people, yes.
Okay.
So now, everybody's going to ask, you see, ancient Egypt was Kemet, okay? All those people who were living there, they were all black people. There was no white, no Arab. This present day Arabs you see over there, they were just not around that place. They were nowhere to be found. And even Colonel Gaddafi even made mention of it, that the original people of North Africa, they are not these Arabs you see over there. They were pure black. All the pharaohs, they were pure jet black Sudanese. They came from Nubia. Sudan was Nubia. Okay? Now, if you're a Christian, you know in your Bible that Joseph was sold into Egypt, right? And then also Moses, they found him. The Pharaoh's daughter found Moses, and then they brought him into Egypt, right? Okay, now you just think a little bit, step back a little bit and think. During those days, till now, these people, they try to make it look like it was white people or the colored people who were living in Egypt around those times. Now you think yourself that if Egypt, the people who were living there were black, okay? Now, the people they try to make other King Solomon, David, Moses, all those guys, they try to make them look like they're white people, okay? Colored people. Do you think that if Joseph was sold into Egypt, which was Kemet, and the people living there were black, and he went there, you think that he would not be easily recognized? That this guy doesn't belong to us, or he's not part of us, he has a different skin tone, they will not recognize that he's not part of it. But what is in the Bible? It tells you that when Joseph was sold into Egypt, nobody knew that he was a foreigner. Okay? Because else would have been known that, no, this guy is not, he looks
like
totally different.
Like when the brown people came to Europe, you see, there's a...
Correct.
It's not a
beige.
Yes.
Yes. So when Joseph was sold into Egypt, if he was actually a white, like the way they try to portray it now, he would have been easily recognized that, no, this guy, he's totally different. When Moses was also in Egypt, they would have found out that, or realized that he was also not part of it. So this would tell you that the people who were living there around that time, they were all black. Okay? And in your Bible, what does it tell you? Yeshua HaMashiach, which is Jesus Christ, he was born during the winter time. Very cold. Now, could the baby be born in a climate that is very cold in a manger, whereby no clothes, an animal manger? Is it possible with this cold? They'll freeze to death.
Don't change the topic. We haven't got to that point yet.
Okay. I'm just only trying to add to what Gloria is saying.
On that note, I can't disagree, because there are people also living in the very cold areas. They bring up fire to warm the area, and then they survive. So we don't have to switch to we come, because it's a very, very long education program. Let's come to the auto defense. You say he's a black guy. I'm trying to find also in the Google, but at the same, we'll make our good research on that. So come to your point, to the black history, to the German line, so that we will not get out of the line.
Okay, all right. Now, you see, here in Germany, a lot of people know Beethoven. Who was the composer? He was a black man. Mozart, he was also a black man. Okay? But you see right now, the Mozart, Beethoven, they paint them as white people. Yes. But if you dig deep, you see they were black people. This will show you that we the black people, they had history here. There were, if you see most of the castles and most of the big buildings here in Europe, they were all built by the blacks. The Moors, Moors, Moor. They were the people who were ruling in Spain. They were here in Europe. They were kings, they were queens, and they had the white people as slaves, servants. Okay? So if these people, they write history now and they try to make it look like, we the black people, we don't have history or anything like that, it's totally false. Because like I'm mentioning, you will not expect your conqueror to write anything good about you, the black man, and still expect to keep you as slaves or to suppress you. It's not going to look good. If you want to keep somebody still under slavery and to suppress a group of people, you're not going to write any good thing about them. That is why the conquerors, they always write good things about them, and they don't want anybody to know the real true history. So if you want to dig deep and check the history of Africa, it will not take you anywhere. But if you check Al-Kibulan, that is where you really get a history. And this is what they don't want people knowing.
Why?
Yeah, because like I said, they don't want people knowing about this type of history.
So how can we let the people to know the truth?
Yeah, that's why you have to check names like Al-Kibulan and check the Olmec. Look at the pictures or the original people who were called the Olmecs, or the Etruscans who were living in Italy before the Italians ever showed up there. The Ionians in Greece before the Greeks came over there. In America, you had these people they called the Washita Moors. They were also part of the Moors. You had the Moors who were living in Spain, before the white people ever showed up over there. The Washita Moors is the name they changed into Washington. They called them the Washita Moors. These people, they were in America before the white people migrated under Christopher Columbus, and then they came over to those places. So the blacks, they were ruling themselves. They had their own police system. They had their system of government. And when the white people came over there, they saw how good they were. And then what happened? They decided to borrow the constitution of the blacks in America. And then they also introduced their own system of government. That is why the American flag, or the American seal, if you look at it, is of two nations. You see the pyramid, and then you see the white race, telling you that it's a country of two nations. Because the blacks were there before the white people came over there.
Okay.
And actually, the first president of America is not Barack Obama.
Yeah. Who was it?
He was called Johnson. Yeah, something Johnson. Jack Johnson. No, not Jack Johnson was a boxer.
If you are not sure of it, then find out.
But Johnson. But if you go and then you check, if you go and you check the first black president by the name of Johnson, you see it. He was the first black president of America, and they gave him 2 terms because he was really very good. So he ruled 2 terms. But that was before before the Confederate state.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me go to Gloria. Gloria, are you on the line? Hello? Do I have Gloria on the line?
Hello, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Gloria, bring your contribution to our topic now. Now we shift a bit to racism. So how do we fight racism in Europe? First in Italy, since you live there. How can brown, like the black people we call us as the brown people, how can you overcome racism?
To overcome racism is going to be a very difficult task because racism is somehow, it's been politicized. See? That is how it is being managed. It is a political thing. So for the black race, I don't even want to use the black because I feel so uncomfortable when I'm using the word black to describe for the African descent who are resident in Italy to say that we don't want this kind of discrimination against us. It's going to be difficult because one, you have not organized yourself properly as a group of people. Yes, because even for the whites in quotes to invade Africa to start slavery, we allowed it. I should say we allowed it by then. They, from the beginning, they didn't come as fighters. They didn't come as warriors. They came as friends. They carnally entered into our territory. They brought gifts. You see, they came as friends. So they were so nice with us, as if we are at par with them.
Okay.
And then when they saw our weaknesses, they capitalized on that and used it against us. And it came to a point, our own people were selling us out. So until the African people come together as one big body, with one mouthpiece, to fight for themselves, to fight as one big people, we cannot fight racism. It cannot go away.
Thank you. Hold on. Let me come to Steve. What Gora is saying is a very touching. Is it also possible for Africans or the black people to unite, not also taking advantage of other black people, the brown ones?
Yeah, actually, like she's mentioning about blacks who were selling fellow blacks as slaves. It's really true because you see, like in America, a lot of people think the white came and took the blacks and brought them as slaves. But there were also black people in America who were also slave owners. You see, there were blacks in America who were also slave owners, not only the white. And actually, during those years, they had a law. If you're a slave owner, after a period of time, you had to liberate your slaves. But there was a particular black man who also had his slaves, and when it was time for him to liberate his slaves, he refused. And because he had a lot of money, he bribed the court system, and then they still kept the slaves. A black man, yes.
So the black people also selling black people at that time.
Yes, during those times, it's not, you see, in America, like I mentioned, it's not all the blacks in America who went there as slaves, because there were blacks living there before the white people went there. And there were blacks also who were also slave traders. They owned slaves. They had slaves working for them. And like I'm mentioning, there was a particular black man also who had slaves, and it was time for him to liberate his slaves, and then he refused. He bribed his way, and then he still continued using his slaves, and they had no way of escaping. So actually, there were also blacks who were also slave traders. Apart from that, also, even there is a famous Nigerian writer in Nigeria. You know, this I think was a woman. The father was also a slave trader. He was selling slaves to the white people. Because most of the whites who went to Africa, they just went with rum, whiskey, rum, alcohol. They gave it to most of these slave traders. They got alcohol, and then they went, and most of either the black chiefs or some of the leaders in black African countries, they were used to capturing most of their enemies. And then they kept them, and they were selling them as slaves to the whites. So all the whites had to do was just come in with whiskey and rum. So it came a time when I think the whiskey and rum wasn't really that too much enough, and they started doing something else. But there were also blacks who were selling slaves. They were selling their own people. So that is something with, we the black people, we always talk about racism. We are living here in Europe. We talk about the white people not being not being
fair
to we the black people. But meanwhile, we also do the same thing. And there is something I'm also going to mention. You look at a country like South Africa. During the time of apartheid regime, there were many black nations who were fighting for them, helping them, supporting them. But what happened? They gained their independence, and now you can see of late what is happening in South Africa. They don't want blacks. Burning down black businesses. They are saying the black people are taking their jobs.
Actually, the foreigners. So
the foreigners. They are killing them, burning down their businesses, and setting people alight, which is just really, very unfortunate.
Thank you. Gloria.
Hello.
How can we as brown people say we still try to educate this black is actually brown? So with time, some of us will also get to know we are not black, we are brown. So how can the brown people, knowing as the black people, from what point should they start educating to unite to fight against racism, not taking advantage of other black people? So when should we have to start educating our society on the social media, in the schools, our government, to bring new policies, our politicians? When should we start so that we get there at the end of the time?
Okay, thank you very much. When Kwame Nkrumah came, before he came in, there were a lot of division among the African continent. So when he came in, he did try to bring Africa under one umbrella so that we can have that mouthpiece and be able to fight those negative vices being done to us as African people. He tried, he did his best, but we all know what happened to him at the end. They used his own people to dethrone him, to fight against him. So that dream never came to pass. Finally, the AU was formed. But then, let's try to go down into our political scene in Africa. When you try not to listen to advice coming from outside, coming from the politics outside Africa, you are coined or designed as a dictator. Let's look at what happened to Gaddafi, the Zimbabwean president,
Robert
all
Mugabe.
those who decided to stop all these kind of invasion from outside. Let's look at what happened to them. So for Africa to unite, even for now, AU is like a toothless bulldog. They can do some things, they can't do some things. Compare AU with EU.
Why?
We can't even come to even 1% of what EU is doing.
Why? Why is it so?
We are not together.
Thank you.
We are not together. We don't have that kind of closeness. We don't have that kind of unity. The unity is not there. It is missing.
Thank you, Gloria.
Because we all have different ideologies. Listen, for example, even the Ghana political scene. We have this political party that thinks that we have to align ourselves with the Republicans. The other one says we want to align ourselves with the Democrats. So even within Ghana, the unity is missing. So without we being united in Ghana, how can we be united with other African countries to form a mouthpiece to fight for ourselves? Can we do that? No, we can't.
Okay, thank you, Gloria. Steve, it's become more like we are just beating our own. Comparing AU to EU, are huge because the Europeans are more richer than the Africans, while the Africans have a lot of resources. Why is it the less knowledge, or just like the Nkrumah said on the 6th March 1957, black man is capable of managing his own affairs, was just a speech, which has become, of course, a speechless? Or is it a fact that the Africans still have a long way to go?
Oh, I would just simply say, Nkrumah during his time, he was too fast for most of the Ghanaians to really understand his strategy or what he wanted to do. He was too fast. He was too brilliant. He was like decades ahead of most of the Ghanaians. And not only the Ghanaians, also most of the Africans. He wanted to unite Africa and bring Africa under one umbrella because Africa
future.
Yeah, because Africa is the richest continent on the planet in terms of resources. Okay. But the political system and the economic system and everything is just way behind. You wouldn't really say we are black people, we are not capable of
managing our own affairs.
Nkrumah said it. We are really capable of doing it. But these people, you have to remember that to keep you under control, there are a whole lot of things they have to do. In Nkrumah's time, what happened? They bring people to sabotage. They try to take him out. I think he had like 5 or 6 assassination attempts on his life. Even one in the, I think the Flagstaff house where he was living.
That was enough.
It was a policeman who was like guarding that place. The guy.
That was Baba, the body guy.
Yeah, the guy, he wanted to shoot him dead, you see. So, you see, the white people, in order for them to control Africa, you have to remember that they can never let Africa to grow. Look at what is happening in Congo, former Zaire. You see, on the planet, without this country, Congo, Zaire, there can never be any space industry. The computers we are using, if not for this country, Congo, there will be no computer. Because you need this cobalt. That's what they use in the space industry. And it's found only in Congo. Computers, they need this coltan. And it's found in Congo. You see, Congo, this country, Congo, is capable of, feeding the whole of the African continent. You have diamonds, you have gold, you have everything. But there is war there. And Henry Kissinger, he mentioned that, everybody can just go dig it up. You'll find it. He mentioned that Africa has resources. And the Westerners, they need these resources. And for them to get it, they will have to make sure that the African population, the youth especially, they wouldn't have to grow. Because if they grow, they'll make it difficult for the white people to invade and steal our natural resources. Yeah, Henry Kissinger mentioned it.
When was that?
Oh, during this, Henry Kissinger, he was the Secretary of State, I think, the Nixon administration, But everybody can find it. He mentioned it. It's there. If you go to Google, start page, whatever, you'll find all this information over there. They have an agenda for Africa. They don't want the African continent to grow. You see, so they have a lot of things in place. If there is an African president or head of state who wants to do good, they will make sure that they sabotage you.
Like Gaddafi, for
like Gaddafi. Gaddafi was before Gaddafi was even taken out, he was supposed to have been nominated as the best head of state on the planet by United Nations. But what happened? They took him out during Obama administration, a fellow black. You see? So, if you look at Gaddafi, during his time, he was helping a lot of Africans. And actually, he apologized for the way they treated the black people. Because like I mentioned, he said the original people of North Africa are the black people, not these Arabs, these invaders who came there. You see? So the African continent is like marked for death. So during Nkrumah's time and people like Patrice Lumumba and all those guys who really wanted to do good for Africa, they bring other people to, to take them out. Because they knew very well that if they allowed these people to leave, they would unite Africa. Like Gaddafi wanted to bring Africa under one currency. He wanted to introduce one currency in Africa backed by gold. You see, most of the money we have now, it's not backed by gold. It's just mere paper. You see, they have their printing press. They print a lot of dollars and pounds and euro and all that stuff, which is not backed by gold. And they bring these papers to Africa. And then we give them our diamond, our gold, and cobalt, and coltan, and all these natural resources. We give it to them, the hard stuff, and then they give us papers. You see? And if you look at Africa, we have the natural resources, okay? but we're not allowed to print our own money.
Thank you.
They don't have the natural resources. They're allowed to print their money. So, if you look at the whole thing, if you are somebody, a leader wants to correct that thing like Gaddafi wanted to do, Nkrumah wanted to do, then they take you out. So it's not like we the black people, we are not capable of doing anything. And most of the leaders in Africa, sometimes, the white people, they protect them. They can be there 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years, they rule, and they are being protected by the white. Why? Because they allow the white people to steal the natural resources, and at the same time, they give them safe pass, whereby, let's say, they can keep money in Belgium, they can keep money in Swiss bank. They tell them that, we're going to protect your family, keep your money in our country. We'll protect you so that, at your last days, you can just come here and relax. But what happens? Before your last days, when the money is enough, then they bring somebody to take you off, and then the money belongs to them.
Thank you. Gloria.
Hello?
Yeah, I think we'll switch this to, I got a message from here, change it to Brofo. Hey, ma, yeah, remember, Steve okay. Cannot speak the tree language, so, Steve, hello? What do you make, Gloria? What do you make?
Hello?
Yeah, what do you make?
Yeah,
okay, no problem. If I cheat, my woman has to see at the end of the program. Yeah, good. So, see, Steve, we can't be said, your baby who how you're finding more difficulties, even under the Obama administration. Gaddafi was overthrown, killed, and there's something we still need to dig in and go through and see how future we can get it done. For my research, it also, Malcolm X was also planned, killed by another black person. Martin Luther King, about 57 years ago, also planned, killed by fellow black people, organized by the white people. So, my embra hakakra. Na, me person who said, Abrofuno in the Nyansa say ya panty, and by all koku, all means, Jomba ye piano, they always a form in thinking, they still get what they want. The only person to achieve their goal be omunya. Nyansa no munim say tuntumfo na na say dear pantra.
Me pacho me say nyansa na ebi omo was saying. But me say omo bargaining spirit. Like they know how to bargain. And I think so no almost answer do suko almost observe ye and who say greediness and so yen e before ne yafa pese minkuminya ewo yafa minkwa minya ya ne ye ewo yafa enti who say weaknesses na ewo ye ho no and omo take advantage of it. Because what shame instances are woman yen no omo yusu wa we bibini and odi o sadie wa we bibini they can see a came free even time almost start to say yeah ton ye hu nyina sebio se bro next na ni sheep muna so bedru a grabia sit say offense so na say be opese oto nipa de ko amonania ofiti ye botumi akwa na sa kwa koto nipa Yemi di bibinia ni mako. Akako tren say aha we abemu adu wa hanu say oto no kwa no ho edin obetumi adowofo na ma nti onu na betwe na ko. Wo hwe videos ni history ni research bebebo mu ye nyina na yemi bibifo na chichi yen ede enkoyi. Enya profo na ngasa ne wura villages no ekofa nipa no de koyi. Nti na make an earlier on yankasa ne ye hu aduru.
Oh, prime minister.
You, who beside me question be say, as near my back a eating hand, Musia Mati, dear Bayer, any debate racism, if you okay, fine. Ya better hand me say, ye, it before I will come hand me say. And now only say, any young one a hour why you will come her. You were India for her, you were China for her, you were other race, other ethnic ebia almost some wa ha musi omo bobra but to therefore when it for me say dia Germany no etisa but I had no say Italy and wono Ghana ni Just say Ghana, you crowd to me being an occasion, made a Ghana for them in Pom.
That's not a Ghana name.
Oh, yeah, Ghana nipa. So also me them in Ghana for Oh, it is a woo cast one casano, you yama. What the young way and young crochet Ghana near sea and say, where do you kindly, where do you benny, wait me, they can me a can friend who Ghana name, and can be free, now be free. Me friend who Ghana name. 80 years, but now, Crank, you think, ya no ben chrome. Now, you stay this system now, you're betting him because what bets now will be cruel. I'm not sure on a system or they're running the crew. And see, need would you say, oh, best move back together as one people because so what shall say above no soon say, my back together as one force. No more demand the baby, oh, the mamma.
Okay.
No more say one because I'm not to up at the serious. Madrin, where can it be? Because say before me a new way dream, Ghana for me a new way dream, and before me a new way dream. I want actually a pony no your boss. So wait to say. So what started war when we are beginning what Shana? Say no baby.
Okay, now respect number phone.
I'm serious.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Gloria. But now, no, to the last hour of our program, no, what we're going to do is, Gloria, the other say. Now, no, we switched it to the last minute to our program. Since Steve doesn't understand or cannot speak the Chi language, you be more attentive to what Steve will say, and then you translate it for me on the Chi, and then we keep going so that we can balance the two languages for our audience as well. So that's what you're going to do for me in the last few minutes before we end our program.
Okay. Hey, Steve, the report for the
You said what? Did you hear what she said? I said now, the last hour of our program, since you cannot speak the Chi language, whatever you say right away, he's going to translate it for us. She's going to translate it for us. And then she said, like, no, you have a very big, authentic words, so you might not maybe understand. So now we give us, I think that's the funny thing. Yeah. So, for the sake of our audience, Steve will need teaching into our Canberra for now, then, or Gloria, no, the Baba Potokase Mama, so that we keep going the last 10 minutes to end our program. Okay, so now we find out, like, you know, Malcolm X was planned killed, Martin Luther King. So, to end of our program, we've come to realize with the brown people, we have to start using the brown people for our people to know we are not black, but we are brown people. With time, we will educate them in our society. So, we've come to realizing we, the white, the best people, taking advantage because we're greedy, we are like disliking ourselves. So, which education can we start now, not tomorrow, now, to give to our society to know that none of these best people can take advantage of the generation to come? Now we need education. We have talked a lot, so we need education, how the future will move forward for the black people, the brown people.
Yeah, actually, you see, I think we, the brown people, we have to look probably a step ahead of the enemy.
So if I understand, the Beige are our enemies?
I wouldn't say all the Beige are our enemy, but there are some particular group of people who don't want to see the brown people evolving, growing.
So,
for example, let me just, like you mentioned Malcolm X. You see, for example, if like in, during those times, and even up till now, if you have somebody like Malcolm X, who is like a leader, Marcus Garvey, who are leaders, and they want to open, we the brown people, they want to open their eyes, show them certain things, and also how to lead ourselves. Since the enemy knows that, no, these people, they are too brilliant, and if we allow them, probably things are not going to go good. So what would they do? If there is an assistant of Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey, the media, the enemy, they will try to promote the second in command. They will try to promote him high, just like what is happening now with the media. They will promote that person high, and they will try to make the boss like, he's not in agreement with the second in command. And probably they will even try to raise him high. So probably if the real boss, who is the leader, doesn't really see
things put in place.
Yeah, see the agenda of the enemy, it will automatically create enmity between the two. This is how they used to get us.
Okay, let's stop it here so that Gloria will translate it for us. Gloria, but there Steve can in your tougher my tearful because I think I got also from Gosses. Thank you, GQ, because I think once you bring the tree and the English, it will help our audience as much. And so there's Steve can in your but the tougher my and if you tearful so into it.
People say, CC and problems na ye face as African people. No, it's because you see solutions. Yes, you bet me the aya problems we know everyone more. And now can say you're dreaming step ahead. Say you're dreaming faster than your enemy now, you know. Air fighting, and I will be saying, say, and I say, why not enemy, why not a town for no, and I will no baby was say, your town for the ABS say, yeah, baby, I almost said there is something good with the black race, there is something good with we the black people, and so we be intelligent or brilliant, yeah, say one a race in it. Normally, no. For instance, when you saw Malcolm X, on Mintsa Malcolm X, or you'll be no any D4, you'll be not only my dear ye, or you'll be not be on him or not almost share, almost says almost jano, say on Yanya or Yana, or bet to me up boy before na my drew, and so be a boy and pa. It is all moon be sanwa. Nipa or can only ye Jumano. Normally, only you to sign Mamma was Sandy Pano, almost Sandy Pano by a more popular. Send a bear, a member amount for a woman. Malcolm X now only do on Sebio or a Nipa bonnet. And Malcolm X and Tum near painting Nipa or can of one in ye Jumano, so no dear or no ye con papa no woman. It is Sana now or see normally no, only you to the media no make a TV, so radio, newspaper, no use to woman, else me the cat in some funny power, dear, and say, Nipa, oh dear, no, do I say, no, one in ye Jumano or can of no, do I papa, and no, it's me, say, on side the panel, only Nash Omina Cobenco, and only Judas as Sana Naye can, if you know. It's no more use to a wow, we are, who did it say, Kaone Airco, Aji Biama, Waji to me, Biama, who only use to and not to against the leader who is leading the African descent. Timpacho, I hope some to me can be.
What can you buy? I think, Siana, very nice. What to match Martin. I think that we are doing good. So now, before I think we have about 4 minutes to end our program, I want to come to you, Steve. Is it because the leaders don't really give the assistants, the second in command, those that are arranging things for them, they don't give them much resources, much money, much opportunity. So those working with the leaders feels like they're second to them. After the leadership ends, they may not have anything. So in terms of getting rich, in the name of getting rich, they always get advantage of other people, the white people, the bench people, to take advantage of their own people. And at the end of the day, they cannot manage it as well.
You know, it happens, it's like, I wouldn't really say it's, what are the brown or the black mentality or nature of, doing
human
things.
Race.
You know, we humans, we accept that sometimes if somebody comes to you and they offer you big money, they want to protect your family, they're going to make you rich and all that stuff. They can give you certain types of agenda, and simply because you are greedy, you follow it, and then you betray your own people. It has happened not only in Africa, but even we saw it in Germany with Hitler time, we saw it in Italy with Mussolini. But
in the percentage wise, in the black race, it's about 90%.
Yeah, it looks like, we're more, greediness, it's part of it, because when they offer you more money, then you betray your own people.
Like Thomas Sankara, for instance, was a very good leader.
Yeah, he was good, but they betrayed him. That's just exactly what happened. What I mentioned, because these people, when they know that a leader is going to do good for his country, what happens? If they know they cannot corrupt you, because what actually also happens is sometimes if they try all their means, because what a lot of people need to understand too is, you see, sometimes if you see somebody who is a president and he's trying to do good for his country, they always try to get you corrupted.
In which way?
No, sometimes they can invite you to come to UN session or some meeting in Europe or in America or anywhere. And if you are somebody who is very good, a leader of your country, you want to help your country, they will invite you to come there. When you go, then, before you know, they put something in your drink. And then when you drink it, probably they knock you off. And then they will come with their cameras and videos, and then they strip you naked, and then they put, some young girls and boys around. Then they'll bring those pictures or videos to you, say, hey, this is you. We got you here on media.
But it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened. No, they do it. It happens. Not only in Africa, even in the Western world. They get you in that position. Then they bring it, they show you to you that, okay, we have you now. Now we want you to follow.
How can you prove?
No,
because we haven't seen that one on media yet.
No, you're not going to see it because they will come.
If we haven't seen it, we cannot say they have planned that or they have done that before.
Let me give you an example. If, for example, there's a leader in Africa, he wants to do good for his people, okay? And they try probably bribery to bribe him to take money so that he would lead his people astray and take all the money. If he doesn't want to accept it, what is going to happen? They invite him to Europe. They put something in his drink.
But have you seen it?
I've not finished.
Okay.
They put something in his drink, and then he's knocked out, okay? And then they strip him naked. They put young girls and boys around him. They take pictures of it, videos of it. And then later, when he comes back to his, conscious, they show him that, okay, this is what we have of you. And now we want you to follow this agenda for your country. If you don't do it, we bring it to media.
Good.
That is the reason why sometimes you see a leader who starts in his country very good, he's trying to do good, but suddenly he changes.
Yes.
These are some of the reasons why.
Okay,
they're not going to bring it to media. They just only give you...
But I would disagree with you here because this is a very crucial point. But before I will let Gloria to come in.
Yeah.
I can only agree with you if you have seen that or had once happened to one of the African leaders. Then maybe. But if someone has told you that could have been like that, or like in terms of bribery, that can be also. But putting something in leaders' drink, getting naked, and all this, have you ever seen?
Okay, I've never seen.
Wait. It cannot be a topic.
Okay.
Hold on for a minute.
Okay.
Let Gloria translate here for me, and we continue. Gloria, but the top of my head, if you create the
Me patrol you. Me patrol beside say. I na ya na esintia same examples are my fire leaders in Yinano say Jumani Yinano is it because the leaders na omudi ayana niema akadia sen komodema ye jumano na ema ntiasie ba no fa ma wo mo ana ena Mr. Steve, no eka say, and yes, Sana, I am na I am a baby no one, abedi cheerful for Lombas, and baby no greedy. Greedy in the sense, say, I am Nipano or bar, and as I am no person who break your system, no more bar. Ebia, or because Mema Usika, me protect two family. Ye be see a mouth, ye be see a mouth, but on Makanya map, bring a market, on be ya mouth. Ebia now also sooner only the panel. Example to say, ya in coma, more up and down, more brim, like you are fighting just to make sure, say, mobile achieve Bibiama, Ebia Ghana, Naibia Africa, no. On yes, I am my name, Mount Senipani Tiba. No, because say, Mema Osika, make me protect your family. Yabama was dying, say, greediness in it, aya na yes so no, and if na aya or bwana na was so na say we betray the people. Or my example say ane ebi example Germany, Italy, or my example say it miss you or such places. And of course also I say sometimes in so no aya na for instance so who say be a leader way and a president African president be a yadie e woni country a ni aya no mo ye ni so mo ba ombuka so ebi e pese ye mouse ka we na we dey how do I say this now your mouse can we now follow this agenda for your country because you say won't follow your agenda. You say the other president we now cast it be sa agenda way the meaning say one mind meaning say one me di almost so sometimes as a president, as a leader, who refuses to offer no more the on the bar, almost okay, you will take try say a bribe one day. Okay, he invite you into America and I say to UN
session meeting.
UN meeting be into the bra na bayani say we okay what meeting na say discussion na koso kama wedding kama into the audience say oh bibia okay we no what for that I want no drink e dey ma o e be bibia so unu we no wada de e kono onte ebia woda ye na no ne ebia abaya ebia na brante bi abe talon ho na etwitwa picture ma media na bim enti no sa no bibi sa bi see no see on your blind side ebia leader no onya away enti why any meeting area wa ko dru Africa ja no obo ne man ho ban na ebia o managing ne man no na ya dey serve picture na ye try and video na ye try no e da be kire o say so buy say now be Boni because a blackmail or blackmailing no. It is our agenda na ye de buy now refuse see na ye invite you now buy. So one follows our agenda na and no ye be his idea way AP ama o mind name say sa onye ni pabia. And no na na sa na leaders be dia popo na omakwa akoye sa omo agenda no. Na no mu na wo bi sa na say or you sure say we won't be happen because we know someone be happen unless you say obenya facts edi abatania all kind of see in your own jinto.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Thank you, Gloria. I think so, Gloria. I must say I need this lady's number for a program. Yeah, you might about couple. About Gloria, me honey pantino. We had a normal idea black as right. Open Gloria. I saw the babies at the baby couple.
Exactly.
Okay, wonderful. I think in the future, Gloria will help us with such introduction. So now we find a solution. So, like the time is much spent, so we will end because this is a program going to do till the end of the year, and it's a fact. So, but we'll end the program here. So, just we'll end it here, and then we'll continue on the next episode next month. So, just a piece of advice to the brown people, the black people, and also to our leaders before we end our program for today.
Yeah, the only thing I can say, we, the brown people, living outside or even in our African countries, we have to be vigilant and then know who our enemies. I think, yeah.
Okay, that's just vigilant and know who are our enemies.
Yes.
Okay. Any special greetings to the Our Union or any friend, family around the globe?
Oh, my special greetings to Ever Union in Frankfurt. The Akosombo guys in Ghana,
you become
the
boys, to them.
the boys, and the baby girl, Sir John.
Wow, okay.
These are all, great listeners, and they used to come on the platform, the radio, and they bring a lot of brilliant questions.
Okay.
And they make the whole thing very interesting.
Okay. So, tell us about your time on SAR Radio, and just about 30 seconds, what you actually do on SAR Radio.
Okay. The SAR Radio, I used to come there from Monday to Friday from 4 German time to 5 o'clock. Ghana time, I think from 2 to 3 o'clock Ghana time. And actually, I talk a whole lot about health. I talk about geopolitics, exopolitics, occult, secret societies, Illuminati, anything that goes. And mostly, the things I talk about health are simple things like, just letting people know that, for example, if you have fever, headache, migraine, things like that, it doesn't mean that you have to run and go take things like antibiotics. The simple thing for you to know is if you have your temperature is increased, you have this fever, you have to know that your body is very, very intelligent. Since your body wants to be in homeostasis, it is increasing the temperature. And when the body's temperature is high, it means your body produces something they call interferon. And this interferon is actually produced when the temperature is high and is killing pathogens and bad bacteria and other things in your body. And what you also have to know is your temperature, unless you are 43 degrees Celsius, you cannot die, because cancer cells die at 42 degrees. And the human cells die 1 degree above the temperature at which cancer cells die. So you just have to know that if you have the fever, your body is just simply killing pathogens and bad things in your body. And when you take antibiotics and you stop your body from doing the detox and killing these pathogens, the antibiotic will stop the fever. But meanwhile, the pathogens and the bad things stay inside your body. And as time goes on, you'll pop up with cancer or heart disease or diabetes or things like that. So I just simply tell people, if you have things like this, the best thing for you to do is to do detox by way of probably enema or something like that. And then you will just find out that your migraine fever will just simply disappear.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Steve. And I think you can also reach Steve on +233 560 517979 Star Radio hotline in Ghana. With this number, you can reach Steve. Yo, Oba Gloria, for your podcast,
The last advice to the African race.
Yes, and then what Steve also said to translate it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Pacho, okay, they say, the last words. The last words.
Okay, and no problem. So maybe I want to pass to piano.
And Obisani say, program Bena or Yen was Star Radio. And I say, or Yen research, Nyama Bebre, Ebano, politics, Ebano health, and also train my own say Nipa Unam Dodo. Now, say, be a wire Caribbean, and yes, so fitty, no antibiotics, because antibiotics, say, body no, the mechanism, no be free, say, no. It's now or train it to my, I was Star Radio, so now train a say, or starting a Ghana time too. Europe time, no, 5 p.m. And I share the program now about research why you find your baby promoting politics and in your air course will be a small baby eti ochire so as I say una was also a kind say obi a say or they or person who no any interaction piano or bet me Eddie number now the children or bet me connect our number na on Nakasa for any information via open first your research or more the program it was Star Radio.
Yo, yeah, that's it. Yo, now so far unchia any jumadi I will do a Star Radio so any what time so far to so now face no you was also ton apomodin drobi so no nti eno so no ma ye hu de wo ton no na de twa so na de telephone number so our telephone number na de Star Radio number no na what they are to so na fi de yakweni
me ba cho yo mate me da se okay me ba cho me na ye din komo bebre afa African descent, African continent, ni din komo bebre afa ho ye nyina ye hu ye tonsi where we fall short ye nyina ye hu oba aboche ha no say won say ye hu say ye nuanum Chinese for no they are very very united ye nuanum India for no they are very very together sebio India for ko kaba kwa waka mu nyina Even Italy had say first not a license and a tron or brofun, send a bayan cayen, a free Africa, and I see a free Ghana no, cable to be actual bis ye knee a ye and a trim, but you see a make us an over Italy, a tron license no, our India Casino. Because I'm paying for no mucho minimum, back together as one people, only one united people, fighting for the Indian community along the corridors of government Italy. They are fighting for them. India for brand doors for Italy because only a very, very united. Nyame say, Nipa, send your baton, one near beto. Send your baton. Boarding, a better boarding. Name no know how I'll be prepared. What will be my show? Almost say a new system. It's in DA and our year, and they are making sure a system now. What be drew no, also be down when I want to be benefited from. Before, especially young Ghana for near bar, near all new system one, near always say it's Shian. What see me what coming? What see I'm now so how can one you're concentrating on? It's the Ben I am a catering. I would be saying near catering to me. I know, but yeah, Miss Rain, you know, say a Bobby my store. Yet, system, yes, steady. Yankasafi upgrading and when you enjoy a ye, Emma, what one I see a new mobile brano, and no, a panisai can't be a bit too. You can't be a bit too. Okay, but that's it. A friend of our Gloria, me hosting a Basma program. It was Star Radio from Monday to Friday. The departure time in Europe time, 3 p.m. Ghana time, 1 p.m. And I did host this program. Program in some way, that's for Basma. Actually, say, in some way, you cover a man, a man program, a man one, but a yama a man. Because all the couple that is women empowerment. Women empowerment. Because also by society, program no ye de ka insema efa ema ho ye de ka ogogo on mo I don't know bible ha or problem but oni obi of a country no enti wo de ba as anonymous no me to me a story no me e broken ho through that no wo be yo ho aduro wo so obeje advice enti na me patron ya ye wo no just to be the mouthpiece for women empowerment. It's in Nani me patron make and me product so no me patron a juice plus no a product beer in India ama ehun say na ka yeduanya yedi no na ka esenka half of the plate are yebedi de piano esenka ye fruit and vegetables sene be ya entro na ewo eduaba ni mu na wo vegetables ni mu e say ko ye ready ni mu na ema ye body ye adwuma ye no ema ya harawa na ye adwuma ye ema ya koma na ye adwuma ye ema ya blood na ye adwuma ye enye adwuma because when my mimbi sa wo da ben pa na we di fufuo now when we are apple can edit to me. Oh, you 80% carbohydrates. Say we are out as sweat, as feces, as urine. How many times that in a day? How many times private a day? How many times now sweating our approach even some ample, how many times now sweating? Sanyama way now be some say he never. No, it's what the need detox because toxins no ayemuma. And to way now, Ronnie say, okay, fine, and yes, dear, but no soon to me, a fruit no soon to me, okay, and yes, I made it 30 different kinds. Fruits. Broccoli wom, cabbage wom, tomatoes wom, lemon peel, and ketradian wono. Nis you cry na da sen and into the mouse said Jerry Albajari, on Jerry because no. But Nina no, yet their couple that no said, Nafa bone hopine. For bridging the gap of nutrition, nutrients now all lacking, vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, folate now all lacking, Faka, na one of a sound. immune system no enko stroma cholesterol no enko forma sugar level na tete na ama diabetes no how no and also so no balancing ma na one kasa nya pomudin energy bi mbra because edwumanti any secret name na yetu kwan se e ba na de bia wo sorry a meti me nan ni sisi obede na wa ye edwuma na wanyi skara kokuru enti aya na ya pomudin no so no me pa cho emani hia yen pa.
Okay, na fa you want fa sa radio no man, me fa sa radio no man into suma. Oba Gloria program no e wo Ghana no. Time no pesa oba so a +233 560 517979. Ebia na said me capo so pe telephone number. Ebia na edro so a wo ton so no. Wo pese your friend say obi ya order wo ho a. Fa wo telephone Italy telephone number na tuja na capo or the number na to anu a chero. Nefi there tifa we say later over the tuja
paper show you 0039 34 787 99476 paper show Mrs. Studio 0039 34 787 99476
yo abagore edase so Jimre na nya mre na na twetwe nkomo yenim se sesi ade ye nya solution to Steve so be kan potokasa obetumi aboa na fi de wo de ama etie for mama ntia yo mama ntia Ernesto ene Natalie ewo Stuttgart echia ebusuan ni nyina na chia Mary so ewo Ghana be wie so a na maba be chia Kinko eso wa be join GQ TV official chat room executives wabeka so mechia mo ne mama nchia the crew ni a and sound director IT boss Erica Piana da Roma na who sound and Prince One almost da Roma and they ye di adwumadi ni ba se se ade who se Steve ba ye de beba potokase mu se de oboy maka se na ye famra brofo na mese no we ye ka Africa se ne akofa broni kasa na di tuatu ankofo aso anye ne e be sha se educate ho ne hu se ye de anya ye de ano no ye ne e be hwe ma na ye ne ayeye yede busuafo ni ase ko GQ Google Play Store GQ Waves Radio na download the app no app no wo download a obenya sa radio GQ Waves any chat bibia wo app no so obenya yada masenya mebo next week yede emankomo ebeba yede mankomo next week intino na the twaso no so ye Gaza Kitchen the Gaza Kitchen so beba be yeduane ebia na woduane shedan sisi so ye sometimes so be mo kwantwemu a na jene sutwemu a na nkyere nim te be chese de si eduane ewia na edidi na small party wa ye wie pa na ye de state of Ghana so atwa so ntibusumi nia programs no hyehyɛ so wodi ane se oba like no follow no share na waka ho na wode comments so aba na ya kan tine ye de tiefo a mo join e wo Facebook ni YouTube no nyina so no ye da mase wo hwɛ program e wo YouTube live GQ TV at the same time so we share as well Facebook live GQ TV and also tie wo gqwave.com or radio no so nti ye da mase aha na crew ni nia ye se ye de mbesi ye da mase se mo nyamre na mo tie na mo hwɛ na menka nyina yo God bless us all.
Speak that.
Yo bye.